Welcome to Taco Tuesday's Market SITREP here at Top Gun Options. Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz, and it's a Goldman Sachs and Bank of America day. Goldman Sachs blew the doors off it, as we would expect, top, bottom. But the main problem with the Goldman Sachs earnings were their FIC. Remember, if you don't know what FIC stands for, it's fixed income, currency, and commodities. The trading revenue, and also same thing with Bank of America. 14% slump in FIC revenue. Kind of hard to trade a market last quarter that's doing this. All of these folks, if you threw $100 million at these blue bloods and said deploy this capital, they'd probably throw it back. Why? Nobody, show me who's getting long this market. Actually, my members know who's getting long this market. Who's getting long this market, ladies and gentlemen? The number one buyer of the S&P 500 right now is who? I've heard answers, the Fed, the Chinese. You're all wrong, folks. The number one buyer of the S&P 500 has been the S&P 500. Janet and her predecessor, Bernanke, have been keeping interest rates near zero low, artificially low, and allowing these companies to do what? To buy back their shares. Now imagine if Trump gets his way, which most likely ain't going to happen. He can't even... you should have done what you campaigned on, dude. Repeal the damn thing, okay? And then focus on a replace. Trying to do too much, focus on the alligator closest to the boat. Kill the thing. Okay, before it kills more people. I sound like a Democrat there. And then try and replace it. But folks, if he does get his tax cuts through, can you imagine if Apple, Carl Icahn has been ripping Tim Cook, a new one, for a long time about, hey man, buy back more of your shares. Well, Tim Cook's got $252 quadrillion sitting in County Cork, Ireland, that he's not bringing home. Could you imagine if these companies actually get to bring cash back and buy even more shares? Rip your face off rally, and this thing just keeps going higher. You can't keep down near zero interest rates and companies buying back their own shares. But anyway, guys, the FIC revenue plunge is the worst since 2015 and blames low client activity. Well, blame your client, Goldman. That's always a good business tactic. But they're right. I mean, they can't deploy new capital into this market. But, they're the giant vampire squid. As soon as this market rolls over, they're going to print money on the market rolling over. But Lloyd Blankfein, good guy. I'd use the pullback in these financials to get longer them. We're already long. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. We ditched our Morgan Stanley about 6 to 8 months ago, but I would absolutely be looking at the financials to get long here, folks. Janet is only going to be raising interest rates. It's not a matter of if, but when. The Fed funds futures rate went down from like 60-ish% last week to about 45% now. Why? Because Janet was a dove crying last week, and I'm shocked because the week before that, about 3 weeks ago, she sounded like a hedge fund manager saying equities are overvalued, vol's too low. This thing's nuts. Well, Janet, you just made it more nuts by being a dove last week, and your Fed lieutenants didn't do any good running out to the microphones to fix that. Just got done our primary live trade brief. We got bearish on FXI, or I did. Folks, Xi Jinping, Sunday night when we were snug as a bug in a bed, did what? Blasted their markets. Hey, we got to get out. We are way over leveraged, way too much debt. I'm going to set up a committee to coordinate financial regulation. He took a little bit of air out of the balloon. They had their biggest decline, the Shanghai did, in 7 months. And I told you, the huge trade deficit with China, Trump ain't going to let stand. He's too busy tweeting, defending his son. When he wakes up and gets back to business, he's going to recognize huge trade war with China has to happen. He has to label them a currency manipulator if he wants them to, no kidding, be serious to sit on North Korea. That's coming to a head, folks. So with this massive, massive pop in FXI, I'm selling into it. I just think before Trump fires a hot shot at cream of some young guy, he's going to fire a couple trade war shots at China, or he's going to boot every Chinese kid out of Stanford, Yale, Harvard, and MIT who's here. All the rich Chinese send their kids over here to school, and then they bring it back to China. You need to boot all those kids, revoke their student visas. We need to get serious about sanctions on China before we go to war with North Korea. That's why I'm bearish on FXI. We even talked about, since we are uncharted territory, we are the closest we are to war with North Korea since, well, technically we're still at war, if you didn't know that, since the war, technically, the armistice was signed. I was about to say the war ended, and then I would have contradicted myself. So I even talked today about just going out to, I don't know, September or the fallish and buying some disaster puts, man, because something's going to happen. Something's going to give with North Korea and China, and it most likely isn't going to be good. I don't see Xi Jinping announcing that cream of some young guy gave up all his nukes today and peace, love, and understanding broke out. That just ain't going to happen. Also got long the XLK today. I was pretty shocked that yesterday Morgan Stanley and UBS came out and upgraded Apple and Amazon, or was it Facebook? Whatever it was. These big houses upgrading tech stocks before earnings, they either know something that they're going to be blowout earnings and they're trying to look smart before the earnings, or nothing. That's probably what they're trying to do. So we also got long an XLK, a long call diagonal with a protective put out to Jan 19. If you don't know what the hell that is, it's too late, folks, because we filled up our 25 options weapon school slots last week, and we're airborne. We have our Iron Condor, our final options weapon school session tonight at 7 o'clock. So I'll see some of you guys there, and we'll talk about some potential Iron Condor trades. We'll go through that tactic in detail. But guys, this is I took the week off from weekly options because of my Apple and SPX trades last week, but this is, giving some back here a little bit. Here's another, there's the post-Comey rip your face off rally sideways. Here's the first Obamacare nightmare rip your face off rally sideways. I think we're going to trade a little sideways as we chop through earnings, and then we just head higher, folks. In the absence of horrific economic data or a horrific world event, the market's going up. With Janet making doves cry, what can you do, folks? Smoke the hopium and bid this market higher, okay? All right, folks, I got to run. Going to go for a nice run on the beach down here in Fort Lauderdale. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see many of my members tonight at 7 o'clock. Happy hunting, God bless, and make sure you hedge. Make sure you hedge. We talked about that VXX bullish double vertical last week. Got to have one of those things on, folks. It's called a trade and a hedge. I think it's going to make money because this year something has happened every 3 to 5 weeks to freak this market the hell out, and then it retreats. So we talked about that, and if you have any questions about that, you can take a look at the replay page from our Options Weapons School session last week. All right, guys, I'll see many of you at 7 o'clock tonight, and then I'm heading out to Taco Tuesday. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless.